Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and you're welcome to the Civilized Presence. Thank you so much for joining, and let me know where you're joining us from. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Coming in and let us know where you're joining us from. It's the Masterclass series, and we are just continuing with our Masterclass series on how to increase your civility. Civility steroids. We've been doing this for quite a while. Good morning. Yes, I put a post up that we're coming on at 8:30 this morning. Let me know where you're joining us from. So come on in and say a quick hello. Thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be a pretty short video. And I really do appreciate you making out time to be here. Welcome, Joy. It's great to have you, my friend. Guys, let me know where you're joining us from. If you are coming in from my other page, I really cannot see you directly. So come on in and say a quick hello and just let me know where you're joining us from. Let us know what country you're joining us from. I'm so happy that you made out time to be here. I can see the numbers, but I cannot see your name directly. So welcome. Thank you so much. Now, if it is your very first time for you to join us, welcome. You are onto the Civilized Presence, and it's the Masterclass series on how to increase your civility steroids. Now, my name is Louisa Akaizo, and I am your #1 civility expert and trainer. I'm the leadership coach with the John Maxwell team. And welcome, Stacy. It's so great to have you here. Thank you so much. So some of you have never been here. Welcome, Sierra. It's great to have you here from Dubai. It's great to have you. Thank you so much, Harifa. Thank you for being here. From the UK, thank you so much. So some of you have never been here, and you probably do not know what civility is. So I'll just do a little intro for you. Civility is focused on positive people's treatment. Civility is just being responsible for your actions. Civility is the golden rule. It does the work of empathy. Now, civility is complex. Why? Because it's not just going to show up. You have to be intentional about it. But the great thing is that civility is good, because the ripple effects of being civil and doing great things, of course, will have multiple ways of impacting people's lives in ways that you could never have ever imagined. And it's so great to have you here. Thank you so much, Esther, from joining us from Nigeria. It's great to have you here. Now, guys, you can imagine if everyone in this planet was able to live up to their full potential of just being responsible for the impact of their actions. Imagine how much happiness that there will be in the world, or imagine the impact that this will have in the quality of lives that we live. So thank you so much, guys, for making our time to be here. Like I said, we are running the Masterclass series, and this month is the month of May. It's a Global Civility Awareness Month. And what we've been doing is the 31 days challenge. I don't know if you've been part of what we're doing already, but if you haven't, please try to be part of what we're doing. I posted it on my page, on my Facebook page, on my Instagram page, so you can have access to it. And let me know how you're doing with that challenge. Thank you so much for making out time to be here. Now, the lesson for this month really is the 4E philosophy, and that's from the Civility group. And that states that everyone in every situation, every time, gets exactly the same respect and consideration. Everyone in every situation, every time, gets the exact same respect and consideration. So not sometimes, but every time, and everyone, not some people, okay? Now, we have learned in the past couple of days that one of the things, or the major causes that triggers incivility, is rudeness. And so this is why we spent some time really to learn about what to do when people are rude. And so, if you've been in my class already, or if you're just joining us for the very first time, that's fine. Welcome, Sierra. It's so good to see you. I'm so excited that you're here. Welcome, John. Thank you so much for joining us. Izzy from Canada. It's great to see you. Louisa, thank you for joining us from Canada. Thank you so much. Suzanne, thank you so much for joining us. Baller, thank you so much for joining us. Some of you, if I haven't mentioned your name, I want you to know that I really do care about you and I love you so much. Maybe you're not directly on my page, on my personal page, and that's why I cannot see your name. But come on in and just say a quick hello, and I would be happy to shout out your name and just treat you like a VIP that you are. So back to this lesson. Now we're talking about rudeness. What is rudeness? Rudeness is really a display of disrespect by not complying to the social norms or etiquette of a group or a culture or place or a person. Now, the social norms are the accepted behavior at a particular time. So being rude or rudeness is really violation of human dignity or violation of respect for other people. So true rudeness, we intimidate other people. When you're rude to people, you humiliate other people, you disrespect them, you dismiss them. And there are other forms of rudeness, like being inconsiderate, being insensitive, or deliberately offending people. And that's what we've been dealing with. So now, but I want you to know that the specific actions can be considered as polite or rude in a certain culture, but might not be in another culture. And I give you an example. Or first thing in the morning, if you are in Africa, because I'm of African descent, if you did not say good morning to your parents, you'll be seen as being disrespectful and rude. But in North America, you could just say, hi, mom, and that's acceptable. So you see, different things can be rude in one place, and in another place, it might be accepted. So you always have to check things out. And I gave you another example of being rude by dressing inappropriately. So for example, if you're invited to an event, you always have to read the invitation. Take the pain to read the invitation, or get in touch with the hosts and ask them what is the appropriate dress code. Find out who is going to be in the room. What's the culture of the people? What's expected of you? Where is the location before you show up? So there's so much more that you should do than just putting on clothes and showing up at the event. So there are different kinds of rudeness. Now, we also talked about rudeness being focused or unfocused. So, for example, unfocused rudeness could be someone driving with you on the streets and just being crazy and trying to hit you. Sometimes we notice, IZ, it's so good to have you here from Canada. Sometimes you notice someone trying to hit you on the road rage. That rudeness was not targeted at you. So that person might just be very disrespectful, and that's just how they behave. So that wasn't for you. And so that's more like unfocused rudeness. Unfocused rudeness as well could be, I gave another example of someone working into a room. You could have a colleague that works into the room and welcome Elizabeth, works into the office and not talk to anyone. And then after a couple of minutes, they want to ask you a question. So now you realize that that rudeness wasn't focused at you. That's unfocused rudeness. It just shows that that person is disrespectful and unprofessional. Now, focused rudeness is when someone looks into your face and, of course, is speaking in a rude manner to you. And welcome, Babaja. Ruth, it's so great to have you here. So if you haven't been part of the sessions, you can have access to the videos and learn about unfocused rudeness and focused rudeness. Now, I want you to know that rudeness poisons relationships. Rudeness can add on to people's stress. Rudeness can escalate violence. Rudeness can poison the workplace. And I shared with you, and I'm happy to share that again, research has shown us that, for example, in North America, 90% of American workers say that they have been a victim of incivility in the workplace. And 13% left their companies on the account of an incident of rudeness. You see what I mean? So rudeness is a thing, and that's why we have to speak about it. And I also shared with you, and welcome, BC, it's great to have you here, that about 1 million U.S. workers miss work every day because of workplace stress. Welcome, Reham, it's great to have you here from Egypt. Guys, let me know where you're joining us from. So people issues, rudeness causes people issues in the workplace. And so when, of course, rudeness can spread on, it multiplies. So you could be rude to the next person, and then before you know it, everyone in the office is rude. It passes on to another floor. It passes on to the whole building. So rudeness is really a thing. So today, we're talking about what to do to prevent rudeness. Because rudeness sometimes seems like it's impossible for you to prevent it. But I'm going to show you ways on which you can prevent rudeness from happening to you. Because I do know that a portion of people, a great percentage of people, are just outright rude. That's just how their behavior is. But there are some people who are occasionally rude, and that happens to you and I. Sometimes something happens that triggers your anger, and before you know it, you raise your voice and you're rude. So we have to find ways that we really have to stay right in the right box within the right codes of conduct. And this is why I share with you this great content on rudeness. And so we're having a lot of comments. Reham says, civility. Yes, absolutely. Siama from Dubai says, it's such a shame how a 4-letter word can have such a significant impact in a negative manner. That's correct. So rudeness is tearing down the workplace. And you know what, Siama, I would love to share with you that America's economy has, research shows that they spend up to $300 billion annually to deal with stress in the workplace. And so rudeness is one of the greatest, factors that, triggers stress in the workplace. So you see why we have to talk about rudeness. And guys, please bring on your comments if you're someone who has been affected by this. And I believe that every one of us has been affected by rudeness. Has someone ever been rude to you before? Have you been rude to someone and you didn't know how to handle it? Bring it on. Bring on your questions. And I'm ready to talk about it on how we can deal with rudeness. We're ready to work with you. That's why we're here. So one of the things that you can do to prevent rudeness is to listen to the voice of empathy. Empathy is not something that people love to hear. But I'm encouraging you this morning to practice and apply empathy with everyone. When you apply empathy with people, you move out of you into other people's experiences. So you begin to see the world from their own perspective. People get really frustrated when they, perceive that you're a self-centered person and you really do not care about them. And so when someone feels that you don't care about them, they stop being rude to you. So that's one way to prevent rudeness. Another way to prevent rudeness is to keep a positive attitude. Some people wake up in the morning and are just so mad with the world. Listen, guys, you need to change that. If that's you, you need to change it. And you have to do this. It's an intentional act. It's not just going to happen. So every day when you get up, try to be cheerful. Because when you're cheerful, you're easy to work with. And of course, it makes even your relationship with people better, your relationship with your spouse, with your family better. Nobody wants to be around someone who has so much negativity around them. So try to be cheerful. And when you're cheerful, you're likable. So people will hardly be rude to you unless they're crazy. Another way to prevent rudeness is to respect other people and grant them their validation. People crave validation a lot. Validation can come in form of approval and welcome. Choma, it's great to have you. Understanding, appreciation. Try to appreciate people. Nara, it's great to have you here, and let me know where you're joining us from. It's great to have you here from Afghanistan. Afghanistan is in the house. We're pretty global this morning. Egypt is in the house. Nigeria is here. London, UK is here. Ireland is here. Dubai is here. Canada is here. Nigeria is here. Ghana is here. I'm so excited to have all of you. So just jump on in if I haven't mentioned your country, and let me know where you're joining us from. So get in the habit of validating people and appreciating people. That way they're not going to be rude to you. Now, another way that we can stay away from, prevent rudeness from happening to us is to disagree graciously or refrain from arguing. When you get into arguments, rudeness is going to show up. Because what happens is that when the disagreement is mismanaged, rudeness shows up. Another way that we can prevent rudeness is ask and don't tell. If you're unsure of something, ask. Exploit the power of asking. Don't feel too big to ask. Don't let your ego get in the way. Stop telling people what to do, because telling can show up as being bossy. And people get offensive when you tell them what to do all the time. And of course, that triggers rudeness. Another way that we can avoid rudeness or prevent rudeness from happening to us is get to know the people around you. So don't get in the habit of treating people like they don't exist. Don't get in the habit of treating people like they're invisible. You walk around and you don't want to speak to someone, or you don't want to acknowledge them. And then a couple of minutes later, you need something for them. Of course, they're going to be rude to you. So we have to learn how to step out of our comfort zone to, ease the experience of those around us. It's not something that is going to be easy, but I encourage you to practice, because with civility, you have to practice. You cannot say, Louisa, I'm going to be crazy for 6 days, and on the 7th day, I'm going to show up being civil. That's not going to happen. If you do not practice, you will never get used to it, because I want civility to become a lifestyle for you, not something that you do on a Monday or on a Sunday. For some of you who are people of faith, when you're going to church, you're really good, you show up your best behavior, and on Monday, you're the craziest person at work, you're the craziest person at home. So we want you to be able to maintain the same habit and character every single day. Now, another way that you can avoid rudeness is really accepting some of real life rudeness examples. So I'm going to share that with you. And accepting doesn't mean that you approve of it. And I'll explain what I mean. So, for example, and welcome, Dr. Sean. It's great to have you here. For example, welcome, my friend Sikoni. It's great to have you. If you are driving, for example, and there's a road rage happening, instead of you to start cursing people out and abusing yourself, you can just gracefully pass on and move on. You don't have to respond with rudeness, because rudeness begets rudeness. If you're rude to the next driver, they'll be rude to you. I'm going to give you another example. If you have a boss that is always so harsh, that dismisses everything that you do, instead of responding with rudeness, first of all, accept that what has happened already happened. Walk away. But open up your mind and search for choices. Search for the next steps. What's a better way to go about it? If you're in an abusive relationship, where the person is so rude to you and abusing you, instead of you to abuse them back, walk away gracefully. And when you walk away, you're not saying that they're right, but go and spend some time to think about your next steps. Is this a relationship you want to continue staying in? Do you want to talk to other people and ask them about what they feel, about what you're experiencing in this relationship? And then make out a good time to speak to that person. Make out a good time. Sometimes you might have to apply humor. You might have to laugh at yourself. Even when it seems like you really want to get upset, when there's so much tension, you feel like you want to fight and tear that person down. Apply some humor and just kind of laugh about it. So that's another way for you to be able to prevent rudeness from happening. And welcome, my friend Sikoni. It's so great to have you here in the house. So when next rudeness shows up, cool off and calm yourself down, people. Don't take it personally. First step is ignore the rudeness. You might have to politely walk away and decide on what you want to do. Make out a good time to speak to the offender. Make sure that it's a good time. Don't try to talk to them at that time because they're not going to listen. Make out a good time to speak to them and bring out the troubling facts to his or her attention. What is that thing that bothered you? Try to let them know how it affected you. Try to let them know the effect of what has just happened. Try to let them know that you would love to be treated better another time. And finally, make a request. And you can say things like, in order for us to move forward, please try to refrain from saying these very hurtful things to me, because it really made me feel bad. And guess what is going to happen? At that point, they will turn around and say, oh, I am so sorry. I didn't really mean to offend you. I'm so sorry. I didn't think it was going to hurt you. I'm so sorry. I mean, why would you even make such a big deal over something so tiny? You never said anything before. Come on, you need to lighten up. You're just making such a big deal. That's how they're going to respond, because you walked away graciously, because you did not respond with rudeness. So guys, I do hope that all of what I've shared, that you're able to find some value in the contents. And Siama says, I love your examples. Also, if someone is being rude, move away from the situation. Walk away. Exactly. Yes. Walk away at that point. You don't have to respond. If you have very serious issues that's going on with you that concerns rudeness, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's happening to you directly in your relationships, and you want to talk to me about it, please send me an email, louisa@thecivilityacademy.com. I would love to listen to you. I would love to work with you. I would love to talk to you and share with you ways in which you can deal with that relationship, ways in which you can manage it gracefully, ways in which you can still be civil and have a great conversation. And guys, I hope that the contents that we shared this morning was helpful to you. Leave us some comments, invite your friends, share this video on your page and pass it on to other people, because together we can build a great community of people who are like-minded, who are civil, who are ready to change the world. I cannot do it on my own. I want to work with you. The change that we want to see in the world must begin with us. So guys, this is the masterclass series. If you're just joining us for the first time, you can still have access to this video, and we're discussing what to do when people are rude to you. We will continue this masterclass next week on how to deal with rudeness and bullying and any form of stress in the workplace. So bring on your questions, guys. Send me an email. Let me know what you're experiencing in the workplace. Are you going through stress? Do you have that boss who keeps talking you down? Yes, Siama says, extremely helpful. A reminder to reflect in our hearts to radiate kindness. Thank you so much, my sister from Dubai. It's so great to have you here. Thank you so much. And guys, Siama has been on the show before. She is a UN ambassador for peace in the Middle East. It's such an honor to have you here in this session and just spend time with me in this session. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. And so guys, bring on your questions in the next session about rudeness in the workplace. Are you experiencing any form of stress? Send me an email, louisa@thecivilityacademy.com. Is there something that you want us to talk about? Is there something that you want us to discuss? And welcome Anne-Marie from Canada. It's great to have you here. Let us know. If you want to be a guest on our show, send me an email, louisa@thecivilityacademy.com. It was so great to spend my Thursday morning with you guys. I enjoyed myself, and I hope you did too. Have yourself a wonderful rest of the day. Bye for now. Thank you.